Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Shiggles. I am that guy Rickster.
Hi, Darian here, guys.
Don't roll your eyes at me.
I'm sorry, I just woke up.
And eating already, but it's fine.
No, I realize sugar gives me it kind of wakes my mind up when I wake up. I realize.
Like caffeine.
Yeah, I'm kind of miserable when I wake up on low energy. When it's just like when I have some sugar,
Only
or
when
like
you wake
something.
up?
My God,
What?
you must be a trainer bus because you keep coming. What the hell?
Ah,
You keep coming
ah,
for me.
ah.
Um,
Oh,
but
fun
yes.
times.
Mhm.
Anywho, so we have quite a few things on the docket for this week, so let's just get right into it. The doom and gloom friend. What the hell is that? The ones who are always sad.
All right, so this came to me this week, earlier this week, because I was talking to a friend about someone,
Mm-hmm.
um, and he was like, "Oh, don't bother come with the doom and gloom." I'm like, "Excuse me, what do you mean?" So he was talking about people always using him in a sense as the friend or the outlet to talk to, but it's always some sad situation. So I'm like, first of all, hold back up. Whenever you and I talk, I pull you together like a committee to ask you like, what do you think about a situation? But for me, it's
Yeah.
never a depressing or sad thing because it doesn't even matter what I'm going through. I'm not that sort of person. But I get
Mm-hmm.
what you mean, per se, because like throughout my life or like in certain friendships, like I've realized that some people can be very emotionally draining. Um
I've noticed
and
that.
I hate to say this, but it's just like there's always something going on, and it's like this person is probably accident prone or something, but something is always going on, and it's always something sad. It's always something
Yeah.
that's sad to talk about, and that makes it feel like every time this person call you, like they're about to drain your energy. And
Mm-hmm.
I said this to say that we have to be careful how we use friends sometimes, um especially if it's not a friend that you have like a super strong relationship with, or even if you have a strong relationship with them.
True.
We have to gauge how much we put onto these people, especially if it's the same narrative all the time. If
But
it's a
some
mixture,
people
sometimes you doom and gloom, sometimes you're happy, whatever, it's different. But if it's always the same narrative, that can make people a little bit like, ugh.
some people are I've noticed are like emotional vampires where they're just like just drain your energy whenever they come around or they talk to you or whatever. But I've noticed over the years that I'm somewhat that friend that other people come to just talk to about things.
Same.
I guess I'm a very good listener. Maybe I give good advice, but it's always been that way. But not just for friends. Like I've always told this story where I was at the bus stop one day when I was living in Jamaica, and this lady at the bus stop just started telling me about her problems, and I'm like,
Excuse me.
okay. In a restaurant, that happened to me already. Like it's always happened to me. But how I look at it is like with them, like strangers, I figure more or less like they have something that they just want to talk about, and here I am, like a stranger. They'll never see me again, so they can just offload and just go about their day. But at the same time, it's very draining. But I get what you mean with a doom and gloom friend because I have a friend. Let's just say that where sometimes I just don't want to text them or talk with them because whenever I ask, hey, how are you? Blah, 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 stuff like that. It's never, oh, today's great. I'm doing good. This is happening. It's always something sad and depressing. Like they're always just going through something. And in my head, I'm like, are you ever happy? Are you ever not depressed? Like, what is going on? And that's not to like judge them or whatever, but just like every single time we talk, something is happening. So, what is going on with your life? It's very draining sometimes.
We also have to learn to not overshare. And I know it's okay, like sometimes you want someone to talk to or to talk about the situation, but you have to kind of like gauge how to offload the situation sometimes. More in a, what I'm trying to say is, I'll be going through shit, but the way I come to you about it, it doesn't usually sound like, we're bringing the vibe, because I'm coming to him like, oh my
Yeah.
god, my cat died, and like I'm struggling and whatever, but then I'm like hee hee ha ha ha, and it's just like, and it's just like, I don't really make it that much like it's
A sad
a
affair.
sad affair, like I'm bringing your energy down. I make it more like a,
Why
I'm
did you
I'm
say
telling you,
affair,
like I'm
not
updating
affair?
you. And you made me follow you too, but I'm telling you more like a, I'm keeping you in the loop, sort of
Yeah.
situation, but more like I'm venting, but not more
Mm-hmm.
like I'm looking to like, oh my god, Rick, and I'm gonna get evicted, so like, we have to learn how to
There's
gauge
this
things like that.
there's this show I watch called What We Do in the Shadows. It's about vampires, like living in the modern day, whatever. There's like a documentary crew following them, following their lives or whatever. But there are four of them living in the one house. So one of them, he's an emotional vampire. That's where I got that from. And his whole thing, he's so boring. He's so boring. And whenever he comes around, like you just start talking about the most depressing things and he feeds off of that. Like he feeds off of that energy and that makes him stronger. And he enjoys it. But then he comes to you and he talks to you so dead, like so doom and gloom and just so depressing. And like, what the hell is going on? So I say all that to say some people are like that. But with what you said earlier, I think it all depends on like how close you are with the person. You know what you should or shouldn't say to that person. As you said, if it's somebody who you're not that close with, why is it that every time we talk, if we talk like every 2 months, every 3 months, every time we talk, it's just the world is coming down on your shoulders? Even if it's a like best friend, me and my best friend, we don't talk every day, but whenever we do talk, it's like we just finished talking yesterday. And don't get me wrong, we are talking about some heavy shit, but it's not draining. And that's the good part.
I also have to remember that some people like to be the victim.
Yes.
So they always have this sort of sadness and shit following them, so that you can always like feel sorry for them. And
Mm-hmm.
as my friend, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Or,
Don't do that. And sometimes you have to ask people like, hey, I want to talk about something. I don't know if it is that you have the mental capacity, like to
yep.
deal or handle this right now. Like, is it something I can talk to you about, and the reason why it gets draining from some people is because it's like they're never sending you a meme or something for you to laugh about. It's like they only come to you when sad situations is going on, and
Yeah.
it's just like you kind of
They're the
using.
type of they're the type of friends when you see their names comes up, you're like, ugh,
Ugh.
what the hell is this? And it shouldn't be
And
that way.
And I know some people might seem strong, because I know I come across strong to a lot of people, which I am. Um, but I think I made it my duty to not really expend so much of my energy when it comes to people. Like I usually get deep into it, like really deep. Like, okay, what's
Yeah.
going on? Have you tried this? Have you done this? I've learned to restrain how much I give myself or feed myself or
Mm-hmm.
allow myself to feel, for people in those situations, because I've had a really like a lot of bad experiences with, I too much, and then when it's
Yeah.
your turn it's not reciprocated, and this person is looking at you like, well, I don't know what you want me to do, and I'm like, bitch, you
Right.
mean right? You mean you were going through it and I was coming up with like solutions and shit like that, and always there, and like the one time I have like a situation, you're coming to me like, oh well, I don't really know what to do,
But I know what I gotta do,
and
but
I've had situations like that before, and I'm
I
like,
hate it.
well, damn, and like I don't really do things to like expect or get something back, but it's just like, if it is that, say for example, like I do need, and you come to me with some shit like that, I'll be like,
Your child is very vocal, by the way.
Very vocal.
Needs
I
to
had to
calm
give
the
him a
hell
bath
down.
today because he was being bad. All fresh,
Oh,
all clean, right?
that's
So
cute.
we have to be careful with that, and that can make friends see us as a liability, someone you not really want to be friends with.
Yeah, I get that.
And we have to
But
gauge how
this,
much we talk to people too.
have you ever been talking to someone and like you're talking, 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 and then in the middle of you saying what you're saying, you realize I need to stop talking now. I am saying too much. Like you're
Exactly.
oversharing, and you're like, all right, shut the fuck up. Be quiet.
And I have this toxic trait, and I guess this is why I probably wouldn't come off as a doom and gloom to people. I wait until after I've handled a situation or I've gone through it where it's
To then
not
talk about it.
to then talk about it. And I know sometimes it might be a little bit,
That is
but I
very
wait
true
until
about you.
I wait.
You do that a lot. That is very true about you.
I go through hell and back, and it's because we have to learn also. It's really nice to have a shoulder to lean on, but we still got to think about, everyone got their own problems and shit.
Yep.
If it's something that I can look at to be like, okay, I can handle this to some extent, I'm going to handle it. And then, afterwards I'll be like, Rick, the other
Mm-hmm.
day I got put out and like I was on the streets for
Which
2 days, and but everything is good now, and it was an amazing experience.
and then I'm there like, what the hell? What happened? But the thing is, I realized
Okay, in
that
extreme situations, I'm not going to do that. But some things you just gotta pick up the
yeah,
pieces, like pick
we are
up.
the type of people who will suffer in silence
Hmm.
and months go by and you never know what happened. And it's like randomly you're talking to someone and
Oh,
you're just like, oh, I
this had
broke my leg
happened.
2 months ago. And you're like, wait, what do you mean you broke your leg? How did that happen? Just casually bring it up like it's nothing.
And it's like by that time, like I'm already over it through it. So
Uh,
like for me, it's
oh
funny.
yeah.
Like, oh, so this funny little thing happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So and I know it's
I've
not
done
good to do,
that.
but we gotta sometimes be cognizant of how much we share or like we pass on to people, because that shit can you can drain friendship.
Yeah.
Similar to that, I think I kind of said in terms of like venting, we have to also be careful who we vent to.
Oh, that is so true. Not everybody is your friend when it comes to venting to people.
Also try practice not really venting sometimes. I know it's hard. You just want someone to, especially depending on what you're venting about. Do not vent to me about your man. I will say this to any single friend that I have right now. Based on past situation, do not vent to me about your man. Your man do you some shit. I don't know. If you
Go
don't
figure it
plan
out.
if you don't plan to leave that person, do not vent to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I take my friendships very seriously. And when you vent to me about that person, and then I hate this person, and then you forgive
Then
this
you
person, but I
forgive
didn't
them.
forgive this person, what happens?
Now everybody's mad.
And then you expect me to get over it because you like a stick in the mud like a yam hill. Be like, oh, he beat me up and boxed me down and slapped me to the ground, but it's all good. It's all good. We're all fam again. I'm like,
We're still together. We're working it out. Just sad.
don't vent to me about shit like that. Absolutely
Sad
not.
cases.
Yeah, because you forgive the person like I. Mm-mm. But
That is
anyways,
almost like the whole thing with I know it's like a dead horse. People have spoken about it for years since it happened. With the whole Chris Brown and Rihanna thing. She has clearly moved on.
forgiven, moved
But her
on.
fans
The
still are like,
world
we don't like him.
hasn't
The
moved
whole
on.
world the whole world is still bringing it up all the time. And the reason why that came to mind is literally because last week I don't remember what I was listening to. They brought up the whole thing again. And I'm like, it's been years, people. It's time to move on.
Which
The
is
girl
kind of
has.
funny because she moved on like if my old brain is remembering correctly, she moved on maybe like a year or two after the incident, a year or two
Yes.
after they were spotted still kissing, making out, doing all this shit, da 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 da.
And
And
even
I'm
did
just
songs
like,
together.
yeah, and I'm just like,
Right? That face.
because I mean, I of course I'm gonna side I her because that person beated you, whatever, all of that shit. But it's like at the same time, you know.
It's your life. You live it however you want.
So whenever people
If
always
you're
like, oh,
happy,
he beat Rihanna and all of this and whatever, I'm just like, well, Rihanna don't seem to care that much, so why should I care?
very that. Very, very that.
Anyways, so
But yeah, I think we kind of touched on this already. But the third one written down is being there for friends. Is there more you have to say about that? Because I think we have spoken about this at least two times before.
probably. Um,
Yeah.
I don't really remember we've spoken about so many things.
Right? So,
But
and
it
we
does.
haven't even been doing this that long.
Um, it's almost been a year, but I mean, being there isn't just. I don't know. What I've realized lately
Mm-hmm.
is showing up, and showing up not just with friends but showing up in
Yeah,
general is something
we
that's
we've
yeah.
spoken about this. Yes, we have.
Yeah,
But
this
anyway,
was
go ahead, go ahead.
but showing up, I realize how like really important it is, right? Because like for example, like I've been here in this expensive ass city. I don't go to lots and whatever, and there are different ways you can show up, just normal things. And yes, we did, because when we talk about the whole community thing, but
Yes, having a
it
community around
is
you.
it is so refreshing because like for the last couple of weeks or something like that, I've been really like, meh, life is meh. But like I have this one particular friend that lives here, and like I've seen them or hung out with them, like they came to my job, like I step outside and we were talking and whatever, and I just realized how important like those little minuscule, those little moments,
That
how
is so
much
true.
energy they put back into you,
That is so true.
just having like interactions like that. And I'm like, we didn't even do anything that was expensive. Like he wanted me to give him something. I was just like, okay, you gotta work. That's the other thing too. I'm gonna touch on just now. I gotta work, you gotta work. Your schedule is this, my schedule is that. I'm just like, okay, just show up to my job, whatever. Spoke for like 10, 15 minutes. That was so refreshing. We went to
Mm-hmm.
the park, like it recharged me so much. I'm just like, damn, like
I
this
I
is
also have a
important.
friend like that. He lives in Florida, not too far. I think, yeah, he lives in Florida. Let's put it there. But his job, he goes around Florida a lot. So whenever he's close to where I am, if I'm at home, he stops by. If I'm at work, he stops by. And I don't know, I don't think I've ever said it to him, but it means so much to me when he just shows up because as you said, it's like somebody is there who you're familiar with, who you basically knew from years ago, and it just feels so good to see like a familiar face. And I don't. He does listen to this, so he's going to know I'm talking about him. But just so you know, I've never said it to you, but I really appreciate the moments that you've like just shown up as you said, we didn't do anything. We just like sit down and talk, and it's such a great feeling. So thank you. You know who you are.
Aw, that is so
And he's
it's
going to message me about this. I can tell you that.
that is so sweet because I mean like it's even like just a telephone conversation these days,
Mm-hmm.
because like even that friend, like, so I haven't seen them like in maybe like 2 weeks, but like they call me every day. We talk about, guys, whoever we fucking, whoever we doing things with, or all of that. And it's just like whenever I see the phone ringing, I'm like, yes, this is my little energy booster right here. And it just shows like how little aspects of communication, like just showing up, just hanging out, not doing these big, elaborate, expensive things, how
Yeah.
important they are to friendship. Like it adds like a little, value to your life. So like if you have that person in your life, whenever you see the phone ring and answer, whenever they
Yeah.
ask you, like, I wish that friend lived nearby to me, like, hey, I'm going to the supermarket. I'll be
Right?
like, yes.
I
Yes, I'm coming,
wish
because I know
we
the
lived the
energy is
same
gonna be
place.
good.
Uh Even doing this with you, I look forward to doing this every week because I know,
Aww.
like, shut up, don't do that. No, I do look forward to doing this every week. I know, like, this is something I can look forward to. So
Aw,
yeah,
that is so sweet, and it's something that's kind of,
that not sound sincere, but it's fine. I'm joking. I'm joking.
my
Calm down.
God,
Calm down. Your
you keep
face.
fucking coming.
Your face speaks volumes.
What the
Just so you know.
hell? And that's one of the things too. And I know we're adults, so it's hard. It's hard as hell. Because every time I try to meet up like with my friends, it's like, oh, I'm off Sundays and Tuesdays, and then it's like,
Yes.
oh, but I'm off Mondays and Wednesday, and it's just like, I hate,
And sometimes
I
you're
hate
not
that so
even
much.
available for each other for like 3 months. Like, let's schedule it for 3 months from now.
I hate that so much, and it made
Yeah.
me realize how much time a lot of these jobs like take away from us for not a lot of money, to be stressing us out, to you can't even find time or joy like to really
Yeah.
like spend
Because
spend
I
with
even
friends, or show
remember
up for friends like that.
this. This is back in Jamaica when I lived where I lived when you and I met, right? I had one friend where every Friday or almost every Friday he would just come by my apartment and we would literally order pizza and just sit and chat and just watch things. And it was just so good, so refreshing. So when I moved here and not really having anybody around me like that, it was so different. And I wish I still had that. He doesn't listen to this. So but it was just so refreshing to have that every something to look forward to, like a friend just coming by and we just sit down and catch up on the week, what we've been doing and stuff like that, how work is going, and we just eat pizza and watch whatever we feel like watching. It was just fun.
And it things like that very much remind me of the dynamics of like friends you had when you were teenagers, or maybe early 20s, or like kids.
Mhm.
Because it's not so much about the, oh, we gotta always be going for drinks or whatever. Like something simpler, just hanging out by each other's place and meeting up at the park, just talking and having
Yeah.
some sort of conversation. Showing up in those little ways like really really help a lot. Like especially if you feel energized after, like, that was such a good interaction, like that is needed. And I
It
think so
is.
many of us are missing that
We are not
right now,
having
because we're
that.
not having that anymore. And again, I said it's because of capitalism and these stupid ass jobs. Um,
Yep.
but
We all should be like Norway, or I don't remember which European country it is. And I think Japan or Thailand or one of them just started it. 4-day work week, and you have 3 days off.
I would love that.
I would
I
love
would
that so
so
much.
so so love that. But you had something about appropriate reaction after a tragedy.
Okay,
What do you
so
mean?
all right. I was listening to another show and they were talking about it. I just wanted to hear your opinions on it. So, let's say, all right, the most recent thing that just happened, the guy who died from One Direction, Liam, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was very tragic. TMZ posted the story and they had like his arm with his tattoo in the picture. People were like, oh my God, why would you do that? So the whole thing is, in a tragic situation like that, right? We know people have different ways of expressing their feelings, comedy being one of them. How soon do you think it's too soon to make jokes of a tragic situation?
Hmm. Um. So first of all, my sense of humor is dark.
Same.
I have a lot. I
That's why
have a
we are
lot of
friends.
trauma. So my sense of humor is dark when you're locked in a room. There's no lights, no curtains, nothing. You can't see nothing. That's how dark it is.
Mm-mm.
Um, I don't think there's a timeline for saying how soon, because when it happened and people were complaining and saying that, oh, TMZ, why would you do this? And I'm like, that's very on brand for TMZ.
Yeah,
TMZ is
that's what
a
I said.
money making thing, and I've known them since they were bigger than this. Like, they're gonna do whatever, and people know this too. People know this because the photos were probably taken by somebody nearby, and we're just like, damn, I can make millions
Make
just by selling
money.
this to TMZ.
Yeah.
Um, but I say this to say, the first joke I saw was, damn, he went the wrong direction.
Oh my. No.
Yes, I
No.
was like, why would you say that?
Exactly. See, that's what I mean. Like, how he
Why would you
just
say that?
died. Like, why would you say something like that? And I realize with social media, nothing is serious anymore. Nothing is serious. Everything is a joke.
And I
Everything
get
is
it.
memeable.
I get it because with the social media is so good, but it's also so great, so bad at the same time.
Yes, it
Meaning,
is.
I can imagine for like our grandparents where something would happen in the world, and like it would take them days for them to probably figure it out or like hear what happened. But because
Mm-hmm.
of social media, like the moment something happens at any corner of the world, if it's a big enough story, instantly it's all over the
You're
world.
going to know.
Right? And because of that, I think we get exposed to too much
Mm-hmm.
all the
So it's
time.
almost like we
So
become
it's,
desensitized.
yeah, celebrities are always dying. People are always dying. War is always going on. It's like, especially with our generation, it's like we use it more as like a coping mechanism to kind of like, just cope with the reality of the situations of things, especially the
Yeah.
fact that it's things we can't really change, but you can see how heavily desensitized a lot of people are on social media. Like, it's almost like nothing.
It's
Because when
nothing to them. Like literally somebody can get shot and then you have people on Twitter just making jokes about the whole situation. You're like, why are you like this? What is wrong with people?
and
Oh
it's
my
just a way for
gosh.
people to really cope about it. So it's just like, I can't really tell you how soon is too soon, because when I
That's what
saw
I
that,
was thinking.
I kind of chuckled. I kind of
Because
chuckled a little bit, and I'm like,
it's also smart. Like it's also smart.
like,
So
how did you come up with that?
you you can't help but chuckle sometimes. You know it's a tragic thing and you probably feel bad for laughing, but you just can't help it because that was actually smart. My God.
Listen, listen. I, I, I don't know, but I also at the same time I kind of understand, because I can't. I know people say that you're not supposed to have like attachments to like celebrities and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I think we all have attachment to something, whether it's like a
Or
video
someone.
game or someone or some celebrity or whatever. It's just like, I can't imagine my absolute most favorite person of a celebrity dying. Like, I don't know how to even react to something like that. And people look at it like you're crazy because they're like, oh, you don't know this person. I'm like, you're right. I don't personally know this person, but like, maybe the music saved me, in a sense. Maybe the art that they put out kind of like really
Yeah.
helped me at a particular time frame in my life, or it helped me get through something, or like it reminded me of a particular time frame I attached to that person. So there's different
Yeah.
things like that. Um of course, I'm not gonna go crazy and do all sort of crazy shit in the name of a celebrity, but at the same
Because that's
time,
just dumb.
which people do, like the Barbs, meeting up, booking on flights to go. I'm sorry if you're a Barbie and listen to this. I like Nicki Minaj a lot, but anyways, but like the Barbs, booking flights to go square up or fight with people because they're like, oh, they don't like Nicki Minaj, and that has happened like in
That is
recent
just
times.
ridiculous.
No, I'm not
Just
going to do some shit
dumb.
like that, but Yes.
Speaking of Cardi, did you hear about somebody prank calling the child protective service telling them that her kids are being abused and they showed up at her house at like 11 p.m.? Yes. Somebody prank called them. So she literally went on live. I know you don't follow her up that much, but she went on live and she's like, the police and whoever, they don't want to tell us who did it. But best believe, and she called the name of like some private investigators, like he will find out. And we're not pressing any charges. Her baby father is Offset, right? Yes. It's like, if it's a guy, he will beat your ass. If it's a woman, I will beat your ass. And I would. I would fight you.
But she's no
Why
longer
would you
with
do something
Offset.
like that? No, but I mean, he's the father of the kids.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes. Because they're both upset. Because, like, why would you prank call child protective services to come to the woman's house? But then I found out after when I heard the story, she's not the only one that has happened to. They did it to Nicki Minaj last year, apparently. The same thing. And a couple of other celebrities, people just call the child protective service randomly and tell them to go to their houses because the kids are being abused. Why would you do that? And honestly, I think there should be a law against that. Like, if you do that shit and you waste their resources and they go out there and nothing is going on, charges should be pressed against you. Like, why would you
the
do that?
the way these fans act sometimes, like it's very,
Crazy.
it's it's like you'd actually be thinking that they know these people personally, so they're gonna fight their battles for them, call the cops and all. It's kind of
It's
crazy.
ridiculous.
It's kind of crazy, but
It is.
what the other thing I want to talk about is that the presidential election
Mm-hmm.
is like a couple days away right now.
A
Today's like
week.
the 26th. It's like
No, it's
about a week.
literally it's like a week
A week.
because it's on my birthday.
What do you think is going to happen?
Lo-
The
Honestly,
Lord.
I would love if she wins, but
PTSD from
it's
the last
it's
time.
no exact. Not only that, it's still, I don't understand why it's still so close. Why it's still 50-50? Why? Like, I don't get that. Why is it still such a close call? And that is why I'm not like celebrating or being like, oh yeah, she got this. Because I remember the last time. I mean, I wasn't over here. I was in I was in China at the time when
In
the last election happened.
2016 with Hillary, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but they said he would never win, and he won. So this time around, stop this whole he's not going to win thing because you never know what's going to happen.
The world was shocked.
The world was shocked, and I feel like no matter where this goes, it's not going to be calm. It's not going to be peaceful.
I
They're
think
going to
so.
be it's going to be crazy no matter which way this goes.
I think so.
So I
I
would love if
literally
she wins,
I
but it's
literally
still
said
going to be
this.
crazy.
I literally said this to someone last week that it's kind of crazy, and I will forever not forget this point because I've been alive for like, well, almost 31 years, and I've seen like a lot of presidential elections like come and gone. And someone made a point that, yo, when I was a kid, it's just like, yeah, even if the other candidate won, it wasn't gonna be like, a bad thing. Of course, he didn't want him to win, but it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, they won, whatever. But it's just like at this point, is if it is that they win, like if one party wins, like the Republican Party wins, it's almost like you expecting the end of the world sort of situation.
Yep.
Like it's that
Yep.
serious, and I'm like, when you put it
Going back
like
to the dark
that,
ages.
I'm like, yeah, when you put it like that, it's kind of crazy to think about for real. Like you losing you so many rights, so many things can happen.
Because I know Jamaica's election is not as big and as crazy as this one. But look at back in the day when, I mean, yes, you would have people who would be fighting and stuff because of their political parties. But you have, when Portia was running, you have her on the stage, she cuss out this, cuss out that person. And then after them finish cuss, them shake hand and them go on a bar, go and drink. And you're like, oh, so you're friends. You're actually friends. It's literally just a political thing. You're just on two different sides. Yes, you're going to argue your point, but at the end of the day, they shook hands and they went their separate ways or they went out together for dinner. Why does it have to be this crazy thing? Like, I'm also wondering, I get it, two different sides of the coin. both in very different directions. But I realize on the right, it's become so radical that the left has also become extremely radical. So it's almost like nobody wants to find that gray area anymore where they can work together and just coexist. It's almost like you're either one or the other. There's no in between.
No in between. And they started with that orange man. But mm-mm-mm. I also can't wait for it to be over. I'm just
Same.
praying that she wins because I don't know that
I
it just
voted
sounds like
early because I'm not voting on my birthday. I'm
it just
sorry.
sounds like 4 years of hell.
And it might be more based on his plans.
Mm-mm. Ugh.
Because the way how he's behaving, it's almost like he wants it to become a dictatorship.
Mm-mm.
Why did I have to slow down to say that word? But I hope it doesn't go that way. I pray and I hope it goes in a way that is favorable to everyone, not just a select few, but to everyone.
But with that said, child,
Yes, with that said, we've come to the end of another episode because such people look like them tired and them just wake up. We've come to the end of another episode of Shiggles. I've been that guy Rickster,
this was Darian, guys.
and we'll catch you next week in the next one. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.